Well, I'm joining Brother Brian here at Arms Around BA today, and I just have a few questions for you because I want to know a little bit more about Arms Around BA and what you do and how we work together as a church. So I saw on the sign whenever I was walking in that Arms Around BA is a ministry of the Southern Baptist Convention. So can you just tell me a little bit more about how does FBCBA tie into Arms Around BA and how do we work together?
Okay. Well, Arms Around Broken Arrow was started back in 2005, and it is supported by 11 different Southern Baptist churches here in the Broken Arrow area and Coweta. To me, Arms Around Broken Arrow is a extension or just a heartbeat of our pastor. Our pastor wants to minister to everybody, and this is one of the ways that he can see that vision reached. So anything that happens at First Baptist is, to me, just the pastor being obedient to God, and so it's an extension of the pastor being obedient.
Okay, so what are some of the ways? I know Arms Around BA, Arms Around Broken Arrow can be kind of broad occasionally. So what are some of the things that Arms Around BA specifically does for the community around us? How do we help them?
Well, Arms Around Broken Arrow, it started out with just Broken Arrow, but we help the communities of Bixby and Coweta also.
Okay.
And so we help people with food, clothing, utility assistance, rent assistance. We have a medical clinic on Tuesday nights.
That's amazing.
And we're open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Monday nights and Tuesday nights.
Okay, and what are the specific hours that Arms Around BA is open?
Monday nights we're open from 6 to 8, and then Tuesday nights we're open from 6 to 8.
Okay.
So really during any of those hours, people can drop things off. It's best not to drop off things, especially food and even clothes for that matter, during the off hours, because something might climb in that bag if it's left outside.
Okay.
And we don't want to bring that inside.
Somebody donated a new raccoon.
Yeah.
Well, so I happen to have just moved, and we're going through all kinds of stuff. And if you're anything like me, whenever you're moving, a lot of times it's easier to just get rid of stuff instead of actually move it.
Yeah.
So what all can I bring to Arms Around BA to donate?
Well, you could bring your money.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah. You can bring food, clothes. We take all kinds of clothing items from birth up. We take household appliances. If we can't use it, we find agencies that can use big furniture and things like that.
Okay.
So we'll take just about anything.
Alrighty.
And if we can't use it, we'll find a place for it.
So for the community around us, and I know we call this a ministry, and so what I want to ask you about is whenever people come in to Arms Around Broken Arrow, in order for it to be a ministry, what are some of the ways that we're able to share our faith and share the love of Christ with everyone that comes through the door?
Well, it's always been looked at Arms Around BA that we're giving a hand up. And when somebody comes in for the very first time, one way that we try to encourage them, we ask them to see our encourager, and that person will talk to them about what's going on, but most importantly share the gospel with them. And then hopefully if they don't know Christ as their Lord and Savior, then that day they leave knowing Him.
That's great. That's absolutely wonderful. The last thing I wanted to ask you about is, let's say someone in the community is needing help, and maybe it's a single mother and she's got another child on the way, or someone struggling to make ends meet and they're needing a little bit of food. Can you just tell us a little bit more about the process of how do you come in here and how do you receive assistance? Like what are some of the rules and all of that?
Well, if you come in for the very first time, you bring in an ID.
Okay.
And you bring in a utility bill of some kind, or just some bill with your address on it, and it's going to show Bixby, Broken Arrow, or Coweta address. And so once you have that, you fill out an intake form, which gets your personal information plus your family and your kids' names, things like that. And then you would go see the encourager. You'd also get a sheet and check the items off for food of the things you would like to have. And then as you're visiting with the encourager or you're going through the clothing area, somebody would be filling that food order for you.
Okay.
And then by the time you get done, you're ready to go out to your car and take your food home with you.
That's great. And the last thing I want to ask on behalf of all of our church members, because I'm sure that they're dying to get involved and volunteer here. What does it look like to volunteer? What do you need? How can people get plugged in?
One of the ways we need volunteers, there's all kinds of areas. We have people that go down to Reese's and pick up food 3 days a week. We have people that go to the food bank, pick up food there. We could use some people to go shopping, because anytime any of these areas aren't filled, that's where I'll come in.
Okay.
And so a lot of times I'll be going to the food bank or I'll be going shopping. We need help with people in the food area, just bagging up the food. We need help in the clothing area. We need help with encouragers, people that are just willing to share the gospel with somebody. And so there's a lot of different areas. The best way is just to come down here or give me a call, and then I can visit with that person further.
Okay. Well, Brother Brian, thank you for letting me come and kind of crash in on you and just ask you a couple questions. I wanted our church to be able to learn more about our ministry at Arms Around BA and ways to help out. And church, I want to challenge you. One way that you can help us with all of our ministries, especially Arms Around BA, is would you just take time out of your day to pray for this ministry? Would you take time to pray for Brother Brian and all of his work that he's doing here and all of the things and spaces that he's filling? And lastly, would you join us in praying for our community? There are people in need all around us, and we don't even fully understand always their situations and their stories. So one of the main ways that you can help out, you may not have anything to donate, you may not be able to give any extra money or come down and help in person, but you're all able to pray. So would you join me in praying for the community in Arms Around BA? And if you have time, we'd love for you to come and serve with us down here. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.